Most women with my condition are very intelligent, identify as female and heterosexual. Suddenly, my lesbian identity, which had felt so cool, rebellious and radical, became a source of shame and problematical. Would the sisters reject me? I fell into rapid freefall. They had lied about the ovaries, and the line about cancer is a distortion of the truth too. I have a rare condition called androgen insensitivity syndrome, AIS. Only 9% of women with AIS go on to develop cancer. That's less than the percentage of women who go on to develop breast cancer. But they don't automatically remove breasts, do they? I was born a woman with balls. I can laugh about it now on a good day. And if they'd have left my body intact, I would have produced hormones naturally. But the choice was taken away from my parents and I, and the shocking revelation years later very nearly killed me. The years of lies, the total deceit, I felt so alone. They say, dear body, that you are a temple. Well, my house was built on sand, and that terrible sunny morning, my house collapsed and was washed out to sea. I couldn't believe it. Sexual dichotomy, male-female, is a cornerstone of human cultures. Pink for girls, blue for boys. Isn't that right? Suddenly, I was not so sure about anything at all. I sought out answers in bottles and powders and pills. My father always warned, men are only after one thing. Would they still want me now? Would anyone? What if they knew the shocking truth? 2001, and my father is dying of aggressive cancer. His funeral triggered a tsunami that started in my broken heart. Who will protect me now? I drank vodka shots, called a dealer, descended into rapid full-on relapse. Absolute fear and hatred of my body and the traumatic places it has taken us took over, taking me to the point of wanting a very fast exit. Fortunately, I was stopped heading out of the door to jump off a bridge and diverted into rehab for 8 long months. Recovery and self-esteem really started when I found the courage to write my life story and share it with the group. That was the first time I'd ever told anyone about the dark secrets contained in this letter. I was sure they would reject me, that everyone would judge me as different from them, not part of any group. A freak. So far, nobody has shunned and rejected my body or judged me as harshly as I have. Touch wood. So, dear body, you can understand why even agreeing to write this letter was a very difficult decision, one that included my family and loving partner. There are millions of us out there, but only a handful of us have found the power to speak up and own this. How safe it is to speak up is debatable. We've heard about the heathen African tribes who carry out clitoridectomies, but not much has been written about the genital surgery done to babies and young children to make them look more normal by gynecologists in Europe and North America. These operations are often for entirely cosmetic reasons, and they're frequently damaging to adult sexual responsiveness and fertility. This infringement of children's human rights is starting to be challenged, but surgery is still happening. When an intersex baby is born, an expert is called to decide which sex to assign it to, and the parents may be pressured to go along with this decision. Because of surgical challenges, 90% of intersex babies emerge from the operating theatre as girls. Vaginas are easier to make than functioning penises. The parents are then expected to collude with society's rigid socialisation process and not tell their child who they really are. You see, my dear body, being special and different is very dangerous. Despite nature's love of diversity, a rainbow of sex and possible genders, the paternalistic experts took it upon themselves to try and force everyone into 2 categories, male and female. Binary boxes. Nothing else is acceptable. I was confirmed back into my childhood faith in 2005. As the Bishop of Croydon blessed me, laying his hands upon my head, my heart quickened. I realised that the body of Sarah poses an enormous challenge to the prejudice, sinful hatred and fear that has corrupted Jesus' message of love and is so dividing and killing the modern church. My very bodily existence and desire to proclaim my love turns the tables on religious heterosexism and homophobia. We are feared because we hold the power to undermine the most fundamental ideas that bind our collective human body together. How should I, a Christian, face the world with this body? Am I condemned to a life of loneliness? Would Jesus give me his blessing to marry another intersex person, a man or a woman? I believe he would agree with me. When it comes to love, the heart is by far the most important human organ. Dear body, after everything we've been through together, writing this letter reminds me that we are still wounded, but how far we have come and what an incredible journey we've travelled together. I do not regret the past and pray to forgive myself and others for the harms I've done to this special body of mine. Over 8 years sober now, I make amends to you on a daily basis by staying clean of all drugs, eating well, walking Marnie, our beloved beagle, and riding my pink Brompton bike to work on Harley Street. A few years into recovery, I volunteered to trial taking testosterone as well as estrogen. After a period of adjustment, I now feel much more balanced, alive, and in touch with both my feminine and my male energy. One pleasant side effect of AIS is ageing quite slowly, so I'm gradually appreciating the many gifts of being different whilst enjoying being more normal. Some Native American tribes celebrated intersex people as having very special gifts that could make us the greatest warriors and healers. They were wise people. All of the trauma and pain has given me great compassion for others who suffer. The mental, physical and spiritual healing work I am so privileged to do in my work as a therapist would not exist without you, my very dear body. For these great gifts, I love you and am truly grateful.
The essay was presented by Sarah Graham and produced in Manchester by Charlotte Simpson. Tomorrow's essayist is the sculptor Anthony Gormley. In his letter, Anthony discusses his relationship to his own body and explains why it's featured so prominently in his art. And if you've been affected by the issues raised in tonight's programme and would like details of organisations that can offer information and support, you could call the Radio 3 Action Line on 0800 033 033 to listen to some recorded information. All calls are free from a landline. Mobile operators will charge, and that number again is 0800 033 033.